Hey everybody, how's it going? Jesse Nyberg here. I get a ton of questions online about where I get my textures, how to texturize your work, and just different questions on the topic. So I thought I'd finally make this video on 10 awesome resources to add texture to your design work. Texture overall is an awesome tool for giving your design some life, an analog feel, and just helping it feel a little bit more haptic in an online space. So I hope these help you out. All these resources are free or super fairly priced. Let's get into it. So first up is True Grit Texture Supply, an absolute classic in this department of textures. They have everything for Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate, and overall I think they have some of the best and highest quality textures in the game. They also have a free newsletter you can sign up for to get a sampler of a lot of their famous stuff. They also have brushes, which is super cool. I think overall their best thing though is infinite pulp. If you want paper textures that are super realistic, integrate with your work and actually show through, I think there's nothing really better than this. That's why it costs a little bit more. It's $30, but what you get for that $30 though is endless possibilities, and I think it's well worth it. There's tons of different grains of paper, color, and just different things you can do in your design work, so I think it's worth checking out. My buddy Made by Motel uses their stuff a lot, and his work always looks super cool and pops right off the page, so definitely go check out True Grit. This next one's Album Art Archive. They have a ton of cool textures. It's run by my friend Jack. I've been really liking some of their stuff lately, from the paper packs to bitmapping, and I really personally like the print tones. It's like a really cool photocopy gradient effect, and I think there's a lot of possibilities here for poster design. Not only does Album Art Archive put out some good products, but they also engage a lot with the community and share other designers' work who use their products. So go check this site out, get some cool textures, and maybe you'll get your work shared on Instagram. This next one's Texture Fabric. They're kind of a one-stop shop for textures, patterns, vectors, and all kinds of stuff. It's almost overwhelming how much stuff they have. They have things from all kinds of categories, and I've used their stuff a lot in the past. You know, they have photocopy stuff, burnt textures, paper textures, noise, patterns, tape, wood, pretty much anything you could ever want, and most of their stuff's completely free. They also have a section called the Gallery, which is super cool for getting ideas and inspiration. Texture Fabric's one of probably my favorite resources for textures overall. I've been using them since I first started out, so definitely go check it out. So this next one is a physical product, and it's actually the classic Crayola construction paper. You can get the construction paper on Amazon for super cheap, $4 to $5. Has almost 100 sheets in a variety of colors. I use this paper in a lot more of my analog style poster designs, as well as stuff that I like to scan in. So if you're interested in getting some of these classic looks like the old rave flyers or punk posters, I think this is a must-have. You can scan it in with a pretty good price scanner. If you don't have one, I recommend checking out the V19 or the V39 by Epson. This next one is an obvious channel favorite. I feel like I talk about Keezy and the dudes over at Blkmarket a lot because they create such quality products. I think the Blkmarket copy scan texture pack's one of the best texture packs to ever be made. You see it all over Instagram. It's pretty much like a plague at this point. That one is well worth the $10 and definitely worth checking out. I've also recently got the Dust and Scratches pack, which I really liked. There's a lot of variety for adding grunge and different destructive kind of patterns to your work. I also thought the retrograde pack was cool. Added a ton of kind of retro gradients, and it still felt analog even though it added some color to it. If you want to get crazy with texture, I recommend the InkLab plugin. You can generate halftone effects, bitmapping, paper textures, and it all blends together super well. But overall, Blkmarket, ton of cool stuff. Definitely go check them out. Well worth the price. This next one is Lost Plus Taken. This is one of the first sites that I actually found when I was trying to experiment with texture. They have everything from grunge, paper, vintage paper, film, concrete, and paint. I really liked their texture because when I first started out, I was big on grunge and distressing my work, and it really helped me achieve those effects. Everything's donation based, so if you have some extra money, feel free to shoot it to them, and if you don't, you can download this stuff for free. I think a good place to start with Lost and Taken is the vintage paper section. They have so much cool old like cardboard and craft paper. There's a lot of variety and cool things you can do with it, so I definitely think you should check it out. This next one is from Doron Supply. You probably know him from all the cool mock-ups he has and just different cool bitmap graphics around the internet. But not only does he have cool merch design and different mock-ups, he has this texture scan pack that I thought was super good. It adds a nice grunge analog aesthetic to your work, and I think it's something that's very sought after. and I think it's well worth the $15. I think it adds a cool analog and grunge aesthetic, and I think it's pretty fairly priced, but if that's a little bit too much for you, he also has something else that's really cool. It's a freebie and it's the indexed color, and it's a cool Photoshop action that kind of adds this CRT 8-bit like diffused indexed color to your photos. So either way, head over to Doron Supply. You can check out some cool mockups, cool textures, and even get this index color freebie. With this one, they're not really messing around. The website is PaperCo, free paper texture. When you get there, you may have to translate from Japanese to English unless you speak the language, but this one is a nice little gem that I found recently. I really like how they have so many colors, different weights, different grains of like paper size, and I think there's a lot of possibility with this one, and I really like that they have a lot of different colors. Sometimes the paper textures can be limiting in their palette, but when you have some cool colors that are built into the file, it helps you experiment in your design work and find new possibilities. The paper textures are also super high res. You can even see they show you a zoomed in section right here, which I thought was really helpful and lets you see the details that you're going to get in the work. This next one's from a really cool designer, Chaotic No Good. I actually was put onto their work by another designer I like on Instagram, Overset Text. This one is not only a texture pack, but also gives you some cool instructions on how to get these specific looks. This pack also comes with displacement maps, so it's great for achieving a kind of punk zine look with some distressed graphics. There's a ton of options you can do here with gradient maps and layer masks. So I think overall, not only is it a good paper texture, but it allows for creating some really cool effects in poster design and album art. It's also coming from another independent designer who has a lot of cool work, so I always think it's good to support the community. So if this looks interesting to you, check it out, mess with the blending modes, create some cool effects, and just overall experiment with it. So the next one we have up is Texture Labs. It's a lot older than some of the other sites, and you can tell by some of the stuff they have, but overall there's still a lot of hidden gems in here. They also have tutorials on how to use some of their textures, so that's really helpful, and it's good if you're a beginner and unfamiliar with different stuff like that. I think this site's good because they offer a lot of variety, and they have a little bit different stuff than you'd see on some of these other more niche sites. I used to visit this site a lot, and I'd spend time looking in the ink and paint area, the grunge category, and the metal section. They have some crazy stuff that you'll definitely get inspiration from, so they're worth a check out, and everything on here is 100% free. Thank you so much for watching, and shout out to all the dope designers who put some of these textures together. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, it really helps me out. And a special thank you as always to my patrons, really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting what I do. If you want to check out some more resources on design, you can check out the video over here or the playlist over here. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.